Good afternoon. It's now 4 o'clock. I'm going over to Dr. Ruan Botha. Dr. Botha, over to you.
Good afternoon and welcome to the JUDASA webinar with the National Department of Health on the ICSP system, specifically focusing on the swaps, processes and regulations. I'm Ruan Botha. I'm the chairperson of the Junior Doctors Association of South Africa, which is a committee of the South African Medical Association. As JUDASA, we received quite a lot of questions and concerns regarding the swaps process and the regulations and the rules for this year. And we then liaised with the Department of Health to organize this webinar to create a platform for you to receive some information, but to also ask your questions. So the layout for the webinar is going to be a presentation first by the Department of Health, followed by time for some questions. I want to say at the start already that we'll try and get to as many questions as we can, but there will be some that we won't get to. We won't disregard these questions. We will take note of them. But I also want to call on you to please, during this webinar, reflect on what is being said and reflect on the questions that we've not answered or questions that you do get, and please communicate them to JUDASA. We are the team in the association that organized this webinar for you, as we want to stand with you and we want to support you. As JUDASA, we are growing and we are gaining some momentum, but in order for us to reach our full potential and to assist you fully, we need you to join JUDASA and SAMA. But I'll get back to this at the end and tell you how we can work together to address all the issues you face as junior doctors. Now I'll hand over to the Department of Health and to Mr. Victor Kanyile.
Good afternoon. My name is Gert Vermaak. Mr. Victor Kanyile is unfortunately just called out. He will join us now in a few minutes. Then he will do actually induction and welcoming from our side. So, like I said, I'm Gert Vermaak. I'm working with Mr. Kanyile from National Department of Health, and we're responsible for maintaining the ICSP online system. And like I explained to you that Mr. V, my senior manager, he is overseeing the whole program, and he will then also give a forward and welcome later on when he's available, but unfortunately was just called out for a second in his office. So if you will, I think from my side, I'm going to share the presentation, and then I think we can start with it until Mr. Kanyile will be able to join us, because I don't want to keep everybody too long. I just want to see if my presentation will be shared. Go to that page. So I hope that you can see my presentation. If I can just get confirmation.
I can see, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So yeah, thank you for this. So we've been approached by JUDASA to provide you with some inputs and insights about the ICSP swapping process. So I don't want to take too long, so I'm going to give you some background. Like I explained, Mr. Kanyile will come in and then he will give us some feedback from his side. I just want to quickly run through the phase where we are currently, the progress that we've done, the swaps overview, and then also I will then give you on a system how do you apply for swaps. And obviously, there's a project plan, but we're not going to go and stand too long on those types. So I think we're going to stand more focusing on the swaps. So just for your information, where we are with the process, I think most of you are familiar with yourself. We've done the preparation phase, verification phase, application phase, and we are now in the allocation phase that we are busy. We ran the algorithm, we released the results for group 1, and that's where we start with the swaps phase. So this is just for your information, and then it's for obviously for annual cycle that we are providing this. Our next page, the progress made to date is that we have divided two groups. We've run the algorithm for group 1. As you see, medical practitioners, we've done that. On the 27th, we've released the results. So, and then we are still finalizing group 2 for medical practitioner ComServes. So just to let you know, the way forward from here on is that applicants need to accept, decline their allocation, or you can then apply for a swap process. Swap applicants must happen within 3 working days from the date that the result was released. So it will be open until tomorrow afternoon. And then if applicants have not done any actions on the system, like accepting or swapping or rejecting, whatever case may be, when we close the swap process, then the system will automatically recognize those people as accepting their post, and that's how the system will take it forward, that they will accepting those people as their allocations. So just to give you where we are, also the details of the swap. We released the preliminary results for Group 1. Some applicants most of the applicants, we stand at about 90% of applicants, 92% of applicants already accepted their allocations, or there are also quite a few that rejected the application due to they want to apply for a mid-year cycle, or there were some family matters that they have to reject and they can only start later on. So Mr. Kanyele is here, so if you could just then say forward for us before I go. I'm sorry for the interruption, Mr. Kanyele.
My humble apologies, colleagues. I'm sitting there in my office and I can't join. And then I wanted to come see if Gerard has joined in. And without a waste of time and also slowing the pace that he's going on, I really appreciate that you guys are giving us this opportunity to unfold how the process works. And I hope that I will be there when we're taking questions, and looking forward to engaging with you. Thank you, Gerard, for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. V. So you will join us now. But anyway, okay, so obviously applicants then either accept or they can reject their allocations, preliminary results. There are 2 types of rejections. You can straightforward reject. Say, listen, I will not be able to assume duty in the mid-year after the annual cycle. I will apply for the next cycle. So you withdraw your application. Then applicants that did not receive one of the 5 choices, they can then either opt to swap. So online, I will go show you on the system later on how that process works, how do you follow the swap process. Just for your information, is that all swaps and exchange must happen online system. You cannot engage with provinces or anyone else. It must happen online. You logged in, but I'll show you now with that process. Also, only applicants that did not receive one of the 5 choices will be allowed to swap. That's why from the beginning, we encourage applicants to apply for posts that you are willing to go to any of those 5 posts, 5 choices that you have. Applicants forfeit your swap, your current allocation. So what I'm explaining is, say, for example, I've been placed at Steve Biko Hospital and I want to swap with someone else. I have a swap process happen, and then I've been swapped to KZN, to Livingston, for example, or Livingston, Arrington, and then I forfeit my old post because I've got now a new post available. And you cannot say, I would rather go back to my old post. So you forfeit. If your swap is initiated and it's been approved, finalized, you forfeit your old allocation. If you're not being swapped, you keep your old allocation. Then no exchange that a lot using the ICSP online system will be considered. Like I said, if you did not log on the system, you did not initiate the process, we will not consider the swap process. If you are a bursary holder for a certain province, you cannot swap without outside of your province. You can only swap within the province you are bursary holders, but that's only regarding community services. So for internship, obviously, you are allowed to swap outside. So this is basically just a swap, but we can go now detail later on. After the swap process, again, you will be able to then release the results. Within a week after the swap close, we release the results. You get a notification again, SMS and an email, whereby you can then log onto the system and then you can accept your swap to say, I'm happy with my swap, or you can then initiate a reject, withdraw, reject, or you can log an appeal, whereby again, if you logged an appeal, it must be online, and you will have to submit motivation documents while you're appealing. And then also just remember that only those people that did not get one of the 5 choices are allowed to appeal. And then also the appeal process will happen is that the committee will sit and they will look at each and every case. And then depending on your submission, your motivations, and your application, and then also depending on the resources available, they will initiate your appeal. So after the appeal, is that again, you can either accept your allocation at that stage, or again, if you reject the final stage, you can reject.
I think we lost Mr. Vermaak there. He might have some problems with his connection. Sorry, we're just trying to get a hold of Mr. Vermaak again to see if we can get him online. Just a minute. Thank you. Mr. Vermaak, are you back online? Let's give him another minute.
Sure. I do apologize. We just lost network connection here at work. So I don't know why it happened. So I do apologize for that. Okay. I don't know if I can continue. Is that okay, Dr. Botha? Renier?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. I do apologize for that. So yeah. So I don't know where you lost me. I think I was just trying to go over to show you the system. I think that is where we have to start. Okay, so the system, how does the system work? Let me give you a pointer. You log in obviously with your username and your password. If you forgot your password, you can just use the link to change your password, and then the system will guide you on how to do that. You will see that when you log in, you will see that your name, your surname, you'll see you've been allocated. In this example, this person is allocated to Addington Hospital. And then there on top is timelines, deadlines when we close, and just some tips and pointers. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see there's two green and a red button. Obviously, if you saw that this is your allocation, you're happy with that allocation, you can press the accept button, and straightforward, if you accept the post, you will get a pop-up box that say, you confirm that you are happy with Addington example, and you will accept and you will assume your duty as indicated by the post. After you confirm, you'll see the system change, that it shows you that you accepted your facility, the name Addington Hospital. And then on the right-hand side, there's a link that you will be able to download your allocation letter. So when you download your allocation letter, example, you can use this letter then to go to the province to say, listen, here's my letter, I have been allocated. Let us start with the engagement with the contracting phase. Also just note that if you download the letter now, please don't phone the province 5 minutes later, because they still have to go and check on the system, see who accepted the post or not. So most probably they will contact you within a week or so, but otherwise you are more than welcome to contact them. Also, you'll see there's a QR code. You can scan it, and then you'll see also it's going directly from the system. It will confirm your allocation. And anyone that get this letter, they can check and they can see the provinces will all confirm that it's a valid letter from the system. So, but that's basically the process when you're accepting your post. So, like I explained, if you're not accepting your post, you want to go to gap year, or you're not able to assume duty, you have to write board exams, whatever still needs to be done, then you withdraw your application. So you click on the decline, and then you can just withdraw your application. But remember, if you withdraw your application, you forfeit that allocation until the next cycle reapply. Also, if you have been allocated within your 5 choices, the system will block you, and you can only withdraw. You only can accept or reject. You cannot open for swaps. So basically, this is our system. You just withdraw, and then it states the reason, and then the system will remove you from your post allocation. If you have received one of your 5, or haven't received one of your 5 choices, and you click the decline button, a box will come up that shows you've been allocated to Victoria Hospital. You want to swap or want to withdraw your allocation. So then, again, you can withdraw, then you reject your post, or you can then, I want to try to swap to another facility. So you click on the swap process button, and then the system will ask you, are you sure? Confirm that you have read and understood the agreed terms. Just let you know that the terms and conditions of the swap, you click on it, and then the next page will come up and show you can then select 3 different options for swap. You can either say, listen, I want to go to a specific province. So example, I've been allocated to Gauteng. I want to go to KZN. I want to go anywhere in KZN. You can say province, I want to go to KZN, and the system then can look for you for any post in KZN. Or you can say, listen, I want to apply for a specific district. I want to go to Tshwane district. That's the only place I want to stay or work. Then the system will look at posts in that Tshwane district for you, but you are limited to that district only. And again, also you can drill down if you want to a specific facility. So I want to go to Swap. I'm placed in Cape Town, but I want to come to Steve Biko in Gauteng. I only want Steve Biko, that's it. Then you indicate specific facility, Steve Biko. But then you must know that if you only do that for a specific facility, your chances are very limited to get a swap approved, because you're focusing on one facility, and there are quite a few people that maybe want to go to the swap with that same facility. So that you need to bear that in mind. And then also you provide the reason why you want to swap. You can indicate first whatever reason. There is drop-down specific formatted reasons already, or you can specify another reason. So that is the three options that you can choose if you want to swap. So you choose province, then you indicate the province, district, specific district, or if you want to go specific to a facility, you can indicate that also. But like I explained to you, you limit your chance if you only drill down to one specific facility. Then you press the submit button, and then it will automatically recognize that as your application for a swap. Then what happened after the swap process closed on Wednesday is how it's working is that the system closed, and we initiate the algorithm whereby it will automatically look for you. For example, I'm Steve Biko, I want to go to Grooteskier. It will automatically look and see if there's a match for me to swap with that person that's in that post already. Or there's maybe a person that declined a post, and that post became available, so I swap you into that post automatically. So the system will look at all the post options that's available for you. And remember, as I explained to you, as an example, I go to another facility, the swap has been approved. There is a post for me in Grooteskier. I forfeit my post in Steve Biko. I cannot go afterwards and say, I made a mistake, I want my post back, because in the back, there's other people that also swap around, and then the other one will go to that post maybe. So please make sure you are willing and know that if you request swap, the chances are that if your swap's been initiated, that you forfeit your current allocation. Results will then be released when we're done in a week, after a week example, next week. We will release the results. You'll get the SMS or an email to say that the swap has been initiated. It's been done on the system. You can log on. You can either accept it, or if not, you can then follow the next process for appeal. And only those people that are allowed to swap or did apply for swap, they will get the process will. So I accepted my post already in the beginning. I won't get notifications because nothing to do with me. It's only focusing on the swaps. So then, like I explained to you, you go log onto the system, you then accept your new allocation, or you can decline or you appeal. Again, remember the appeal, you have to submit supporting documents if you want to that process. Just want to inform you, I just got a message this morning, afternoon again. There's a Facebook account of people that say advertising that say they will help you to swap. Please remember, on Facebook, anything, anywhere else, it's fraud, it's a scam. Don't fall for a trap. You must only on the online system, you must follow the process for swaps. Then contact details, please, the contact details for our help desk. Please contact there if you need any help. Preferred email, icsp@hi.co.za. And on our website, we will update all the information, and we will provide this information to our stakeholders like JUDASA, and they can also inform their members and everyone. So I think we can open the floor. I just want to see if Mr. Kanyele, are you online? Then we can open the floor also for questions and clarity on certain aspects or so, wherever we can help you. So I hope everybody understands.
No, thanks, Gerard. I think you have done quite a lot of justice to the presentation. One thing that I would wish to inform the participants to date is that in order to make sure that we are in line and consolidate the guidelines, we commenced our work with a 3-day workshop, which included also the association and union representatives. So all these decisions that Gerard is informing you about, it is not a unilateral decision by the employer or by the National Department of Health. It's a consensus agreement between us and union and associations that represents all doctors and other categories of health that are required to do both internship and community service. So we did not go and do laws alone. We all had to sit down and agree. And most of these resolutions were taken, or we were recommended from the floor by the associations and unions. So we as the employer had to implement. I just wanted to make sure that colleagues do understand that it was not a one-size-fits-all or a Department of Health unilateral decision on implementing laws. I thank you on that, and I think we would then hand over back to Rowan to guide us on how to deal with these questions. Over.
Thank you, Mr. Vermaak and Mr. Kanile. There's quite a few questions that I've noted down so long, but I think I'll give you 2 questions at a time because some of them I think will be quite a bit loaded and take some time to get through. The first one will be, there's some questions being asked whether special considerations and social compact applicants were run in the algorithm first, as was said in previous webinars before the application started. As some people are noting that people with special considerations did not get their choices, whereas people that are unmarried, don't have spouses with jobs, did get these choices that they applied for. And then the second question in this batch would be a question that's being raised quite a lot by the Stellenbosch University final year group, asking why it is when there's 91% of applicants got one of their 5 choices, why about 130 Stellenbosch students did not get any of their 5 choices. I think we can first do those questions and then we can move on to the next batch.
Thank you. Yes, I can. I think if Mr. Weber allow me, the special considerations, yes, all special considerations was considered during the algorithm. We did not run the algorithm before all special considerations was considered and approved on the system, and that is what we ran, and the algorithm look at that. Then second question is regarding a lot of people. I just want to mention, I've got some stats here. I don't know if Mr. V, if you allow me, or if you want to go into the stats. The specific for Western Cape students, just for UCT and Stellenbosch applicants alone, we had 537 applicants for that studied there in Stellenbosch and in UCT. Unfortunately, we do not have enough posts to cover for everybody in Western Cape. So that makes it very difficult from our side, to say that yes, Stellenbosch have 309 students. We can place all 309 students in Western Cape because we have to look at the resources that's available, and it's been approved and gazetted by the government. So that is unfortunately that. I understand that we had 2,104 medical interns that applied also. So everybody that's that wants to have to go to Western Cape, everyone wants to apply for Western Cape, unfortunately. So I don't know if Mr. V, if you want to add something regarding that.
No, thanks, Gerard. I think I really do appreciate the fact that you've also put in the issue of statistics or numbers, whereby we can confirm that we only received 130 posts, medical internship in Western Cape. And what happens in this regard, you would obviously allocate as per the algorithm or the rules. And the rules would say that as Gerard has said, I mean, how many applicants applied for Western Cape medical internship?
For Western Cape alone, where's my sorry, I've closed my form now. Yeah,
Yeah, when you open it, but
there were about
but
550 that wanted to go to Western Cape alone.
sure, it's 550, and unfortunately, I've never seen a country or any program that's able to put 560 people in 130 posts. It's highly not possible. And we also acknowledge that from the 150, priority was given to those ill health or special considerations that have been approved. Firstly, it's ill health. Those we allocate first, and thereafter, we then would run the algorithm with approved social compacting. But with social compacting again, if people have got, remember, the algorithm gives point system. If I have a special consideration with ill health and a child at school that has been approved together with social compacting, that means it would give me 3 points. And therefore, someone with 1 point or no point will then, be forfeiting the post for me. And that is the rule that we have agreed on. So that is what we applied. And we have applied it across the board. Thank you, Gerard.
Thank you. I know there's other questions also, Doctor.
Okay, thank you very much. I think just to get back to the question on special considerations, if we can maybe share some statistics on the amount of people that applied with social compact, because that was sort of the question, people saying that they social compacted and had special considerations and applied for a post with that, but did not get those posts. And I think maybe if just from your side, we can get just some explanation regarding, I know you and I have had that conversation, but just for our participants as well, regarding the number of people with special considerations that applied and how there's a mismatch between that and the available posts. And then just another question to add to that. I think you did allude to it, Mr. Kanyile, that there were meetings and a workshop held to discuss the ICSP system and the regulations. But I think maybe for the participants, if we can please elaborate on the reasoning and the reasons that were agreed upon at this workshop for why only people who did not get one of their 5 choices are allowed to participate in swaps.
Sure, I think I will start with that. I'm not so sure if Gerard, for this specific meeting, you did do the data, but there's nothing wrong. We can still do it and then send it to Ruan to share. But the most important thing is that, yes, we said, how do we ensure that in an open meeting, particularly with participation, full participation from associations and the unions and us as the National Department of Health together with provincial departments, we said, how can we manage the issue of swaps? What mostly came out from the participant of the meeting, not stating particular individuals, was that if a person has chosen 5 choices, it is what it is. You are choosing 5 choices, 5 personal choices that you are putting across. And therefore, if one of your choices have been given, then you shouldn't be allowed to swap because you have been allocated in one of your own 5 choices. We are not aware what prompted you to choose those choices, but we as the employer have given you an opportunity to choose 5 choices out of your own. We acknowledge, or we would wish that everyone who chooses those would first have done their research of the facility, the environment, amongst other issues. Hence, they came up with those choices. And that was the deliberation. And the final reason was, or the final recommended or agreed upon decision was that people whom are allocated within their 5 choices, because it's their 5 choices, they will not be given an opportunity to swap. I'm not so sure when did you say there was also another reason? Or, I mean, sorry, another question? Over? Except the stats one. I think Gerard would definitely work with the team. Please kindly draw the data on the stats on issues related to the number of what we call special consideration received. I mean, those that have been approved as well, to inform the colleagues. The other matter of importance, colleagues, you should always remember that this is a service platform. As much as it is internship and community service, is still aligned to what we call service delivery model. And therefore, we rely mostly on provinces to guide us in terms of where would they require people. We do not interfere with who is allocated where, but we make sure that the post service, the area where it is required to service. That is the model that we also agreed on. And it was presented again to the meeting in full to say that it would be naive or narrow-minded if one facility is fully given people who can serve and the other facility suffers with a minimal number of people to serve. There should be equity, there should be equality in ensuring that those facilities are well resourced in order to make sure that the service delivery model is achieved for that particular either facility or province or district in particular. Thank you, Dr. Ruan. Over to
you. Thank you, Mr. Kanyile. I appreciate that. Just quickly want to say, I think especially with a lot of the questions being asked, there's a lot being asked now again about the social compact and the special considerations. I think if we can just, as a group, give the ICSP the chance just to draw all that data for us, and then we can arrange an opportunity for them to talk through that and discuss it. I do understand maybe your question now is not being answered the way that you would like it. But they did say they will address it. So let's just give them that chance and create another opportunity for them to
Sorry, which question is that? Is it related to the stats?
Yes, it's related to the stats. I'm just quickly talking to the participants because it's the question that keeps on popping up and they're still asking it. So I'm just asking if they can just give you as Department of Health the time to collate that statistics for us, and then we'll create an opportunity for you to discuss that or present that to them at a later point in time. If we then to move on to other questions, I think a question that's popping up a lot as well is if someone is to decline their allocation, what does that mean for them and the way forward? And then I think also to go with that is sort of on the swaps. If someone applied on the system now for a swap and does not want that allocation, what does that mean for them if they decline? Can they still go back to their initial allocation if that's one they'd rather want, or not? And then if they don't want it, what is their steps going forward?
Mr. V, can I go on, or will you?
No, Gerard, you can answer. I mean, that's basically in terms of the protocols and the guidelines that we agreed on.
Okay, thanks, Mr. V. So obviously, if you straightforward, remember, you can straightforward decline your post. So when you decline your post on the system, you decline it, you will not be able to be moved back in that post, because then you will be thrown into unallocated pool. That is straightforward rejection. Remember, I said to you, if you swap, if your option is swap, and the swap was successful, you always forfeit your previous post, your old allocation, because someone else was then maybe swap into that post. So obviously then your new post, you will have then to accept it or again reject it after a swap. So you will not be able, if your swap was successful, you will not be able to go back to your old post. Only if your swap was not successful, you obtain your old post allocation. But like I said, straightforward, if you reject your allocation. So I hope that will answer that question, Doctor.
Yes, thank you, Gerard. Then a question. There are some people that social compacted, especially social compact A, which I think refers to the married applicants that applied, and then the social compact, they got split up into different provinces, but both the applicants got one of their 5 choices. But because of this now, they're not allowed to apply for a swap. They are just asking if there's any way that they, or how can they be assisted, seeing as they did a social compact, but now they split up into different provinces by the system, but they got one of their choices, so they are not able to swap to get closer to their partner.
Mr. V, can you assist with that?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to respond.
Sure, no, definitely. Colleagues, unfortunately for now, we as the employer, if there is an agreement, we cannot change the rules of the agreement and go do something else. Ruan, you have a right. We have our platform. I think we will be having an associations meeting. We are planning a provincial meeting on Thursday, which would be followed by an associations meeting. If you feel confident that you would want to place that recommendation or request at that meeting, because you would recall that decisions were taken at that meeting, we cannot unilaterally, as the employer, decide on changing the rules of the game today. I think all of you here would find that being unfair and unjust. So we have agreed together as a collective that no swaps within 5 choices. If there is any recommendation, it needs to go to an appropriate forum, not this particular forum. We acknowledge it, and we are saying that you've got a representative by the name Dr. Ruan Botha, who then can package it and go and convince his own other members in the associations together with us as the employer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kanile. I think I just quickly want to go onto that point because my Q&A platform is being swamped by the Stellenbosch class. To my alma mater, I am someone that studied at Stellenbosch, so I do feel for you, and I am listening to what you're saying. And as Mr. Kanile said now as well, as JUDASA and as an association, we will try and assist you as much as we can. What I'll do, just so that you can know and that I can get a chance to get to other questions as well, is to arrange a meeting between myself and my committee and your class so that we can gather all your points, work together, and then I'll go to Mr. Kanile and Mr. Vermaak to address your concerns. Okay. Another question.
Remember, you're not coming to me and Vermaak. The rules were made collectively by us and the associations. So your presentation will go to that forum.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Kanile. Then, Mr. Vermaak, if we can maybe just get an elaboration for the applicants, what it meant if their allocation says that they were manually allocated to a site. I think they just want an explanation of how this manual allocation worked.
The only reason why we would manually allocate the applicant is that either you have a bursary holder that we have to move you to a specific post or study leaver, or the provincial department okay, so I don't know if I'm still online. This is some setting on my phone, computer, but I hope you can still hear me. So that's the only reason why we would make a change of allocation, where the province indicate to us that the bursary holder or a specific person have to go back to a specific facility, or depending on that. That's the only reason why a manual allocation would kick in. Otherwise, everything will happen through the algorithm. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, then the next batch of 2 questions. When the swaps close, I think it's supposed to be closing tomorrow. When can they expect feedback on the swaps? And then we also have some attendees from the second group just wanting sort of a timeline on when they can be expecting the medical community service placements.
Bernard, will you answer the issue related to the swaps? Because I
Yes,
think
Mr.
in terms of the project plan, But I will then answer the issue on Indeed. We are finalizing now the community service medical officers together with other categories like pharmacists. And I think it's about 3 or 4 that we are left with. So our intention is to finalize all that the latest by the 12th of October. Over.
Thank you, Mr. Wee. Yes, we closing the system because remember we opened our release result on Friday, so 3 working days, so it will be closed by tomorrow afternoon, whereby we will then use Thursday and Friday, run the algorithm. Then by Monday morning, we will release the results from the swaps. Next week, Monday morning, that will be I just want to see the dates here. The 7th of October, we will release the results for the swaps. And then obviously we will open for the next phase from there on. Thank you. Over.
Okay, thank you very much. Then a next question being, if the applicants are wanting to do a swap and the system allocated them, what happens if they accept their swap and the person that after the algorithm ran, they are supposed to swap with then declines that swap? Will this person then go back to the initial allocation? Or, yeah, just an explanation of what will happen in that case.
Thank you. So according to my knowledge is that the system will not swap you if there's no post available. So obviously we'll look at you and then see, okay, myself and Dr. Bertha want to swap. Then the system will swap you automatically. Then you can accept your post. Doesn't matter if the other person declined in afterwards or so, you will stay then in your new position with the swap. Only if there's no post available, then you will have to go back to your, you stay in your post actually where you've been firstly allocated. But if you swapped, you're accepting it and then you got your new allocation post. Thank you. Over.
Okay, thank you very much. I looked at the questions now, and I think the questions that are some sort of coming up now are repetition of questions that we have answered before. So I think I'm going to close the questions for us here, and I'm going to sort of lead into a conclusion. Just a reminder again, if you feel we didn't answer your question, please feel free to email us at JUDASA. We will try and get to the questions, and if we don't answer, we'll try and get those answers for you. But I also want to thank Mr. Vermaak and Mr. Kanile for the session and the information they provided and the platform. And then also thank you to all the attendees. I mentioned in the beginning that this was organized by JUDASA and SAMA. And I said that I'll come back in the end is what you as members can do for us and help us to support you. So as JUDASA, we do have a few priorities that we want to address. This being the unemployment of doctors, the mental health and mentorship for junior doctors, doctor safety at hospitals. We also have some exciting webinar series planned to support both intern doctors during their internship with educational series, as well as community service doctors, especially working in rural hospitals. But then the first and probably one of our biggest priorities is this ICSP system and the placement of doctors. I think my first goal and my team's first goal for this year was to have a system and an experience that would be better to what we had in previous years. And I think already we've made, with the Department of Health, a lot of huge steps forward. And having some placements out by this time of year already is a big achievement. But I do realize also looking at the Q&A section and the questions that were asked and some of the emotions that were coming through, that maybe you were left unsatisfied by some of the answers or feel we maybe didn't ask your question the way you would have liked us to. So then I want to call on you as a junior doctor to please join JUDASA and SAMA. We can only evoke the changes that you want if you become a JUDASA member. And as a member of JUDASA and SAMA, you bring your mandate to us. Yes, I am the chair of JUDASA and I do have my team and my committee that works with me. But what ultimately makes up JUDASA is you. We can't address the changes that you want if you don't bring them forward to us as members. Mr. Kanile also alluded to it, that there will be an opportunity for us as an association to bring it forward to the whole group that sat together during a workshop to address this. So please join us, please communicate with us and raise these issues so that we can assist you. but now how can you join? How can you assist us in assisting you? After this webinar, we will send you some emails, and we will also communicate with your class reps, and send them documents on how you can join us and what it means for you to join, what all your benefits are. So I want to end off again by thanking Mr. Vermaak and Mr. Kanyile for their time and for the information and the platform they provided us. And I want to call on you to please join JUDASA and SAMA and to raise your voices, junior doctors. Keep well, and please let us know on our communication platforms and by joining how we can further serve you. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. Bye.